outside and continue to do business in this house. That is how solid we are.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I don't know which spirit is worrying the minority leader. But Mr. Speaker, for your information, 28 MPs from the Greater Accra are in a meeting now. We've just said that they should come. But Mr. Speaker, the minority leader should know that when you were doing the recall, he was even not here. So he's just trying to, he is trying to behave like the Honorable K.T. Hammond.
Honorable members, it's part of the duty of leaders to assist the Speaker to maintain law and order in the House. So, first-timers, please don't go by these interjections. It's not part of good practice. And so what I'll do is to start sanctioning the leaders from the very beginning so that we don't repeat the mistakes of the past. I'm sure you will support that. Nobody wants to be repeating mistakes. You want to do better than you did yesterday. So please, let's continue that. May we now move to page 8. But there's one issue outstanding. It differs from parliament to parliament as to how you want to be referred to. If you want to be called Alhaji Chief Sheikh Doctor, and then we add any, that is what the House will accept. But usually it reflects the culture and practice of the society in which you live. And so, Ghana, we are not known to be taking too many titles, but at least one is recognized because of the addition it makes to your value. So to refer to somebody as Alhaji Habib Idris, that is not too much to ask for. So I will be guided by the decision of the House so that I can direct the table office to capture it properly. Do you want us to add Alhajis? Do you want us to add reverence? Do you want us? Alhaji Idris, Haruna doesn't want Alhaji to be added. I'm reading the body language. Yes. So do we add the Alhajis? Do we add the reverence? Do we add the apostles? Do we add the sheikhs? Do we add the malams? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you know that some make it as part of their names. They even go to swear affidavits to change and add it as part of their name. For those, Mr. Speaker, I think it will be proper to add it. But for those of us who have opted not to necessarily add it, maybe we should leave it as a choice. If the individual wants to add it, then they should indicate that to the table. And those who do not, then we'll leave it out. Because if you are not careful, then the titles alone will take additional pages of the vote and proceedings. But I think that, in fairness, those who may want to have it, if someone is a reverend and he feels very strong about it and he's been adding it to his name, he should indicate, then we'll refer to the person as that. And if somebody is a professor and he or she wants it added to their names because it's part of their records, I think it will be fair. Because, Mr. Speaker, as you may know, today the way we improve,
some may even raise issues of human rights, and that is why I say it depends on what you say. Then we'll capture that. And so, if you have sworn an oath that you want to be referred to as Professor, Alhaji, Imam, so and so, comrade, that is you. We will refer to you as such. And so it's right to say that you have to officially inform us, apart from what you have submitted to the Electoral Commission. Because what you refer to in the forms you filed with the Electoral Commission is what was captured in the writ, or I should say on the writ of election. And that is what we will follow here. But you have the opportunity to make the necessary corrections with paperless. And so we will not have all this rubbish before us. This is part of pollution of our environment. So let's move on with the votes and proceedings. And now I will call the gentleman who wanted to draw attention to something on page 8. Yes, please. It's been solved.
Sure, it's resolved. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, page 8. Yes, please.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, I rise to seek your guidance on. You'll note that from item number 5 to 9 were matters that engage the House before the Honorable Ahumaji to inform the House that the political parties have informed the House in respect of that, but I see that there's no information regarding them, especially because when you get to item number 25, the Honorable Kisialatu Force is also ascribed with the title Majority Leader. But there's no information regarding when the
That's 27.
So, yes.
Item 27.
Yes. So I think that it should be captured before the issues about the motions were carried. Thank you very much.
Yes, honorable member of the votes and proceedings. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, the second paragraph, elect for Ejumaku and not what has been, not Mr. Thank you very much.
Yes, honorable member, thank you so much. But for the name, you know, it's the work of Printers Devil. We know that is Ajumako, not Ajuamko. Person. Yes, page. Yes, honorable member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, still page 8, item 7. Mr. Speaker, the honorable minority leader is here, and I assumed and I heard him say that the member who was in contention, whose presence here was in contention, he said that the member consequence of it, not that was what came out strongly, that he was aware and was willing to bear the consequence. And I think it should be properly captured here. Yes. My minority leader, I see how you enjoy being a minority leader.
We will cross-check from the official reports and then do the proper rendition. Page 9. Page 8, yes.
The minority leader also insisted that the clerk should give a response to the issue he raised. But it is not captured. The issue was that he wanted him to react. And I'm saying that I expect that at least some headline here to state that there was that reaction, so that if it's missing in the Hansard, we'll be able to trace it. I mean, I've been here for some years now, so I've learned. The seniors are talking. Okay? What about?
Mr. Speaker, sorry for taking you back to page 4 with your indulgence. Item number 135. The name reads Athenio Makin Alexander Kwamina. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time I've seen into bracket Osahin. Is that coming from the Electoral Commission, or what is the Osahin? Is that a constituency or a title? I know he's a lawyer. People are to bracket. What is this? Is this a new title, or EC declared that? Or is a new title for describing minority leaders?
Mr. Speaker, when you're doing the registration, you are supposed to fill title, etc., etc. Mr. Speaker, the majority chief whip so pleases, I shall produce for the purposes of Hansard the origins of my title, Osahin. It is a title conferred on me by my uncle, the Omahin of Efutu Traditional Council, and I'm to use it, and I prefer to use that title. So I do not think that you should have family. He's my uncle, and I'm letting you know, and it was not done in private. It was the Traditional Council that met, and officially, through custom, it was conferred on me. It is not a chieftaincy title. It is not a chieftaincy title. It is not a chieftaincy title. Mr. Speaker, my colleagues are asking the meaning of Osahin. Mr. Speaker, I shall rest my case. I want to be known not as Mr. Fenyo Market. That is it, and that is how I filled my form. That is how I title that they have. And Alhaji, they've earned it. In my case, by custom, I have.
Honorable members, we actually have a lot of work to do today. So please, may we proceed.
Speaker, and once again, apologies for taking you back to page 3. I just wanted guidance, page 3 item, looking at what was the presidential inauguration document that Parliament prepared. There were 274 members of Parliament. On the day in question, the member opted to bear the consequences. But when Parliament records that member as present in our record, the legal implication to my unlearned mind is that we are condoning what is supposed to be an affront to the court. So with the presidential one, his name was omitted from it was 274, but here we have 275. And so just to get clarity from you on it.
Honorable Member, I like the statement you use. Your unlearned mind. Yes, so leave it for the learned minds to grapple with.
The rendition in line 2 after speech raised. An honorable member said before, I've also been in this house for some time. There's a language, there's a pattern of our language. The right honorable speaker took. Thank you.
Page 10. Yes, Honorable Haruna Idrisu.
Mr. Speaker, page 10, and I may indulge you further so that I run through what I've come across in the votes and proceedings. Mr. Speaker, I note that in the entire report, allegation to the inauguration of management and budget, Excellency Ambassador Virginia E. Palmer, Honorable Karen Bass, Mayor of Los Angeles, Honorable Francis Z. Brown, conspicuously lost in our report is a U.S. delegation. Mr. Speaker, even as we practice a democracy, there is a grandfather of the democracy. And Mr. Speaker, I just thought that the U.S. delegation be rightly, former president of Ghana, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. So former vice president of the republic, probably he can only be recognized in the role as former vice president, H.E. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia in page 13. It's not for nothing that your good self and others thought that we celebrate our constitutionalism. I probably would want to suggest that table guided by you provide much more detail. For instance, or the head of the Catholic bishops comes in, bishop of the Catholic. For some of it, Mr. Speaker, 7th January is not an ordinary day for us, and it will never be an ordinary day for us, so long as we pursue and consolidate our democracy. So I'll make a plea with you that persons like that be given their proper recognition. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, Her Excellency Mrs. Konedu Ajiman-Rawlings have been very consistent in supporting you and supporting this House. She was present. I do not see her being recognized for the purpose of the record. And I thought that, Mr. Speaker, I should draw attention to it. But more importantly, as I said, it's only prudent that the delegation of the United States is recognized accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You actually have gone beyond the page I mentioned. We're at page 10, and you decided to take us into other pages. But usually, where we sit, we have instructions, and the instructions are in writing. and therefore you go by what you are giving. And so their officials are recognized after the ceremony that all the persons you mentioned were present. Even many more were present. Oversight, the crowd was so huge. And so I can only apologize to them if their names were not mentioned. Me as speaker, but they were not made available to me. We know how we honor and respect all of them. And I'm sure that as elder statesmen, they understood the situation that confronted us yesterday. But we've taken note of that, and then we will do what is proper in the circumstances. To the leader here.
Mr. Speaker, I'll just limit myself to page 10, the first paragraph, moved by the Honorable Member for Nsawam Edwejiri, Mr. H instead of R. But I'm just, Mr. Speaker, surprised that the former minority leader did not also chance that the former president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was not also acknowledged, as he was talking about vice president. So you check it properly too.
At page 10, item number 23 IV, the indefatigable chairman of the NDC, IE, DU. So if your own constituency has been mutilated, a delegation from Nadoli and Kalio constituencies, it is one constituency. The Right Honourable Speaker acknowledged a delegation from Nadoli Kalio constituency. So not constituencies. They are not two constituencies. So, Right Honourable Speaker, table office will have to correct that.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Led by the Second Deputy Speaker, Her Excellency Tuareg Kubali Ajaratu, but her name was omitted. She was not even accounted for that. She was here during your inauguration. Thank you.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Since we are just updating the list of people you recognize, we had the leader of the delegation of the government of Israel, the deputy minister, foreign affairs minister of Israel, Madame Sharon Haskell, so that the records would also bear that. Thank you.
Honourable members, what I'll do is to submit the whole list to the table office so that they could capture them properly together. And there was a long queue where they came. Even after that, some people approached me to say they did not hear the acknowledgement. You saw the time we took, and so we may, as part of the corrections of this House. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, suffice it to say, what you just said could have corrected some of the corrections that we are going to make. I thought that it's important that because in the night of the swearing in of your good self is also recognized. That's His Excellency Chief Fortune Charumbura, the President of Pan-African Parliament, was both in the chamber and also at the inaugural, grounds. So I'm sure that when you provide the full list, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, still on the same page 10, during the first session before that, and you recognized him accordingly. So I think that it should be captured. But following on to page 24, well, like Sam George, it's unlearned mind. He says the outgoing Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, arrived in the House and took his seat. But Mr. Speaker, if you go to the very first speech, Mahmoud Baumia was a former vice president. He was not outgoing. He was outgone. So should we be describing him outgoing? Because you were acting president then. So the former vice president took his seat. And it follows same to where we haven't reached page 10. But like Honorable Haruna did, the outgoing president, His Excellency, he was also former president at that point, because it was past midnight, and they've all ceased to be presidents. So I think that the record should capture it appropriately. Thank you.
Yes.
Who was not present. Just to draw colleagues' attention, if you look at page 10 and item 23, what it does say is we have issues, a few issues with that. And I couldn't have agreed more with Honorable Muntaka, because I recall I heard a speaker mention Speaker Charumbiwa's name. But if you proceed further to page 12, item 34, it says, the Speaker invited the following dignitaries to congratulate His Excellency President of the Republic of Ghana. There is a bit of distinction there. The latter speaks to an invitation that was extended by the Speaker to dignitaries who were there to go congratulate the president. So we shouldn't mix the two. I think there is a distinction. The Speaker has given overarching. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, at the conclusion, it says that sitting is suspended at 2:32 a.m. Now, when you come to item 26, then you have sitting resumed at 10:45. So my concern is that if sitting is suspended at 2:32 a.m. and until 10:45 a.m., what has accounted for item 24, 25, and 26 in this votes and proceedings? And that is something that I think we have to look at. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, I believe it's a learning process. The arrivals are recognized. Resume. Reconvene before we resume sitting. And so during that period, there are arrivals and some of these dignitaries. And so there is no problem with the sequence and the timing. By the time that I called the House to order so that proceedings will resume is what is referred to as 10:45 a.m. So there's nothing wrong with it. But as I said, as we go along, there are more of those things that we'll all learn together. Please, page 11. Page 12, page 11. Yes, please.
Speaker, I was rather going to page 10. I was going to raise something on page 10.
Yes, page 10.
The last item, 24. Item number 24.
Yes.
The spelling of the former vice president. I think the name is Mahamudu, but I've seen it as Mahamadu, and that has also been repeated also in page 13. I don't know if we can take notice of that as well.
I think you are right. It will be captured properly. Yes, please. Page 11. Page 11 now.
Oh.
Page 11.
Okay. All right. And thank you very much.
Please, now you can go on page 12.
Thank you, Right Honorable. H.E. Paul Kagame. Kagame is misspelled. It should be Kagame. Not
yes,
K.
you are right. Table office, take note. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since this is a house of record, the same page 12, Item 3.4, Roman number 111, III. The name is Fori Isozima Nyasingbe. Fori Isozima Nyasingbe. Then XVI. The title is His Excellency Brigadier General, retired. He's not just a brigadier, but he was a brigadier general, retired Julius Madawuni Bio. The Wuni is spelled W-O-N-I-E Bio. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Speaker, a couple of corrections. Item number 34, sub IV. Patrice Talon, the president of Benin, his full name is Patrice Guillaume Atanase Talon. Guillaume spelled, Atanase spelled.
Honorable members, I have a problem appear on the list I was given. Apart from spelling, you are adding to that list. His Excellency Furi Nasingbe, that was what was given. And then also His Excellency Patrice Talon, that was all what was given. Bio, there was no Wuni in it. Now you are adding to it. I don't know whether we'll be right in doing so. If I'm to rule on it, I think that will not be right.
Speaker, I cannot challenge your ruling on this matter, but I believe that this being a House of Records, normally you will permit that, for instance, where an official name of, especially the heads of state, normally the names are several. They have several names as the full name, the official name. So, where, for instance, for Nasingbe, Esozima is the middle name. In the same way, Patrice Talon, the middle name is Guillaume Atanase. You permit that, but I'm guided that if, for the sake of the records, you may not allow that. Let me further go to item number XIII. His Excellency Muhammad Idris Deby Itno. His Deby is spelled D-E-B-Y. There's no R. There's no R in his Deby.
It's the source of the information. I don't know where you got the authority to be correcting the names of people on the floor of the House.
Okay.
That is my challenge. Okay. And that is why I say I don't think you are the authorized representatives to be correcting the names and telling us official or unofficial names of dignitaries.
Speaker, I'm guided. Speaker, safe to say that these presidents have their official websites.
Kofi Abrifa Bougia was known as Joseph Frederick Bosnia. You don't know it. That was his name, Joseph Frederick. And he changed both names to Kofi Abrifa. And that was done legally. He swore an affidavit and went through the process to change his name. Now, you will come later and say that that is not his correct name. And you'll be referring to Joseph Frederick. You don't have that authority. And that's why I'm saying that you don't have the authority from any of them, unless you can show me that this is my authority from this person to change the person's name. You don't have it. And as we said, this is, yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We are guided, but at least for the title, Prince Oligwe Nguema, the title is there, Brigadier General. And everybody knows that Madabio.
Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, on page 12, XVII, I think the name is the same as the one on page 13, XXIII. Page 12 and page 12 and 13.
Honorable members, Brigadier General, people prefer you to say General. So you have Brigadier General, you have Major General, you have Lieutenant General, and you have General. The General is the 4-star. The Lieutenant General is the 3-star. The Major General is a 2-star. And the Brigadier General is the 1-star. Please. I went for an interview to be a military man, so I know that. And many of you were not born. You know, I like the discipline in the military. And so, with that, so please, let's take it as a writing. So, may we go...
Speaker, still on page 12, respectfully, if you'll indulge me. At the inauguration yesterday, Right Honourable Speaker, after the special guest address, which has been correctly captured, the special guest, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Adekule Tinubu's goodwill message. I recall, Right Honourable Speaker, that before you invited all the other dignitaries listed here, you did invite the outgone president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, to congratulate President John Dramani Mahama. He was the first. He was the first to congratulate President Mahama, he and his spouse. That is conspicuously missing here. And what that has led to is that, Mr. Speaker, if you go through the entire vote and proceedings, and I think, Mr. Speaker, that would be a grave error. He was the first, he and his spouse, they were the first not captured, and it's totally missing in the scheme of things.
Yes, Minority Chief Whip.
Mr. Speaker, item 34, XVII, the name of the head of state of Guinea-Bissau needs to be expunged. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you are right. Our attention was drawn to that earlier on. You are right. Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, page 13, item XXI. We are there.
Yes.
Yeah,
I actually mentioned page 13, but I was taken back to page 12.
Okay.
Your issue is what?
Congratulate President Mahama on your invitation. We were all there. We were all there. Oh, no, he did. He did. No.
Please. This is not.
No, he was invited.
This is not.
He was invited. We were all there. We were all there, and that is missing. If we will document other presidents going to congratulate President Mahama, why would we leave out our own president? I don't get it. I mean, he's certainly not my best friend, but at least for the records, let's do the right thing. Let's do the right thing. Yeah, he was invited. Yeah.
Honorable members, this matter is not open to debate. It's a matter of record. So let's leave it at that. Please. No, it's not a closed book. But it's a matter of record. Let's take it as it is. I'm here. I know the protocol. And so the protocol is what is being followed here. And it's true that we should acknowledge that in our records, his name must appear on the votes and proceedings as having taken opportunity to come and congratulate the president. Please, that is not on record. That is not on record. Yes, any other matter? Yes. Oh, is stretching. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think mine is on page 13.
Yes.
Item XXI. His Excellency Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo is not the president of Republic of Congo, so Ngweso. So that correction should be made. Because if you go to page 12, VIII, the correct name there is DR Congo. So the correction should be made. Thank you.
Is DR Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. That should be noted. Honorable members, page 14. Sorry, yes.
Mr.
Page
Speaker,
14.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, on page 13, Roman numeral 34, the name of the former president, John Ejekum Kufuor, is spelled wrongly. We spelled it K-U-F-O-U-R.
Yes, table office, the U comes before the O. Thank you. Page 14. Yes, any...
Presidents of a number of countries have been repeated, and we would want to draw the attention of the table office. They are quite, I've heard one being mentioned, but there are more than that. There are about 3 of them. So that if the table office can take notes, that will also affect the numbering. The numbering will change. And then, Mr. Speaker, we need your guidance. There are a number of them who, that has not been captured here. I don't know if you want us to leave out their spouses. Mr. Speaker, that is for your guidance. And then, Mr. Speaker, if I'm to come to page 14, since you mentioned page 14, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, the second entry, foreign has been captured wrongly. It's been misspelled. The N at the end of foreign. A category was created at page 13 for former presidents. I thought that is the proper placement.
I said I was going to submit the list to the table office to capture it as it was presented to me, because I went sequentially according to what I was given. As to the number of people that broke protocol and came up to Congress, people came with delegations. They had seen some struggle. So please, we'll do the proper thing by submitting that list to the table office to be captured.
Maybe page 14, XLI, iterating from the senior member, Honorable Kujoto Abrakwa. In as much as the foreign is spelled wrongly, the main concern is that His Excellency Diego Martinez Bellew is actually the Minister for Foreign Affairs.
We will cross-check from the list that was submitted.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, page 14.
Mr. Speaker, moved by Honorable Majority Leader and member for Ajumako. I seek your guidance. I thought he should be member of Parliament for Ejumako Eyen Ishiam. So I need your guidance on that. Thank you.
Yes, table office. The member insists you should complete it. Member of Parliament for Ajumako. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Page 14, our Majority Speaker, Dr. Cassel Atoban Forsen, the doctor leader, has also indicated to us that it's not Mr. Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Markins, but he will be preferred to be called Osanyene Alexander Kwamina Afenyo Markins. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Markins.
Honorable members, we had forms given to all of you. What we have for the minority leader is what has been captured on the order, the votes and proceedings. So he has put there Osahin. It's not Osahine. It's different pronunciation. It's Osahin. There is no hine. No. The gentleman is from Efutu. That is for him to decide whether is Anglo-man or not Fante, Central and Western region. His tribe is there. Yes, please.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if care is not taken, this house, somebody will come and fill a form that his wife calls him man love. Then that will be added to his name. Somebody's wife will call him man king. Then that will be his title. Then it becomes something like that. So, Mr. Speaker, we have official titles which are recognized officially. And Mr. Speaker, it is for this very reason that even the word honorable became a subject for ruling in our law court. So, if the honorable minority leader can explain, the Speaker, simply because this is a house, this is an august house. If you are giving warrior titles to honorable members, the Speaker, is that the precedent we should set? If the honorable minority that can explain the meaning of, so is it going to turn this micro minority into a war group? Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should go further with this.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would want to seek your guidance on this as part of the general issues that we are discussing on the list and attendance. I observed that, and I'm making this point because where it's in, you see some of the names are italicized. Some of the leaders who were invited, their names have been italicized, whilst others are of normal font. So I was seeking guidance whether it was a mistake or
there was some special purpose or they were intending to serve with the italics. If the italics or the one, but can you allow me, please? Allow me. The font is different. The font is different. Font is different. The font size is different. So I know what I'm talking about. So can you allow me? Those that have been italicized or fonts with small sizes, whether we can change them, they will all look the same. Or you will get the explanation for the purpose the italics were supposed to serve. So that is the guidance I'm seeking from you, Mr. Speaker. So please keep them with the same font. Consistency is important. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, honorable members, this is definitely a secretarial mistake. It will be corrected. But let it be known by all of you that it's part of the duty of the Speaker to protect the micro minority. Honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, honorable members, is also part of my duty. The minority leader is on his feet. Let's listen to him. Well, they rose up in support of him. Yes. So let's listen to him.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, with respect, I shall, in response to minority, Mr. Speaker, the rules of this House provide for the minority and the majority to have any micro minority. Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus hereby protests. Mr. Speaker, we protest the description given to us by Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this practice of when we are on our feet, the majority will on the mic, it's not acceptable. Mr. Speaker, it's not acceptable. We are Democrats. You put off my mic. Listen to me. Mr. Speaker, we find proposal and the motion for your election, Mr. Speaker, against you. We protested. We stopped them from that conspiracy. Mr. Speaker, today the so-called majority could not get its members to come to the House. 61 of you are absent. Mr. Speaker, we don't accept the description micro minority. We are minority. Simplicity. Mr. Speaker, please, minority. I so submit.
Honorable members, this is not subject to debate. Please, this is not subject to debate. Please.
Sit down.
the minority leader, on behalf of the minority caucus, has objected to my describing their caucus as micro-minority caucus. And that this is a term that is unknown to the rules of honorable members. I will say that he himself critic.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker,
honorable members, the objection is to the fact that it should not be formally so recognized by the records of Parliament. It can be used by the leaders.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we are getting the impression, Mr. Speaker, the minority caucus is getting the impression that Mr. Speaker may be we are the official minority. There can't be any other description, and it shouldn't be used by anybody on the floor of this house. You cannot even use that term. It's not only Mr. Speaker. You can't use that term, micro-minority. From today, nobody should ever use that term in this house. Nobody should use that term in this house.
Honorable members, the minority leader is saying that I should not protect them. Is that what I'm to understand?
Speaker, we're saying that protect the minority. We are not, Mr. Speaker. You see your man. Mr. Speaker, you see what you are doing to us. Mr. Speaker, we protected you. When they were conspiring, we protected you. So protect us. We are the minority. We protected you. In fact, but for us, you wouldn't be the speaker. Yes, the president-elect had to issue a statement. Yes. We protected Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, all right to be heard. Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I come under Order 123, 2A and B. Mr. Speaker, the preamble of my, just on a lighter note, just few weeks ago, Mr. Speaker, just few weeks ago, my good friend was protesting heavily for being referred to as minority leader. But you were not. But today are you? Mr. Speaker, and the order says that, and I read, a member shall not use offensive, abusive, insulting, blasphemous, or unbecoming words on a member or any other person, or B, impugn improper motives.
Please.
Other person. Mr. Speaker, my colleague suggested that the majority was considered at political functions, was describing you in words that can never be used on this floor, and said, Mr. Speaker, that the greatest injustice to Parliament was to elect you as Mr. Speaker. You said that on political platform. Today, a 10-quote minority leader is now pretending he loves you more than the people who actually you belong to. We can tell you this. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, and I know you've got the tapes and the videos. But what I will say is that for the fact that he described us as conspiring against you, he must actually withdraw that part of the statement now and apologize to us.
And apologize.
And Mr. Speaker, hold on, Mr. Speaker. He described us as the so-called majority. Look at you this way and look at this. Is this a so-called majority? Do you describe this as a so-called majority? This is a proper majority. And this is, Mr. Speaker, the size of this, let me repeat, the size of this looks like my district assembly. The size of this never conspire to do anything against you. If there's if the last person, the last group of people who undermine you, Mr. Speaker, will not be this side. If there are other people who do it, we can guarantee you, you get our support today, you get our support tomorrow, because you are doing the right thing. So he must withdraw.
I'm grateful that you recognize me. Just to share a few words. Speaker, Kwame, so Kwame, are you telling me to sit down? Can you tell me to sit down? Joke. Speaker, you can't tell me to sit down. In this house, the rules that we use. You can't tell me to sit down. Get the attention of the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank you for recognizing me. First of all, the order my colleague quoted, and if you read further, order 1, 2, 3, if you read further, subclause 3, the inherent condition is stated there. It will lie in the mouth of the Speaker to determine if time in this house. Would you listen to me? Would you listen? Speaker, would you listen to me? Speaker, 4th term in this house. This is the first time President-elect has to issue a statement, more or less whipping you to nominate the President, to nominate Speaker for the position of speakership. Why? And that's very revealing. It was because there were things happening at your backyard, and the President-elect picked the due intelligence. That is why he had to come out with that statement. This has never happened. So for the leader to say, it took the support. If there is on both sides, you should be very careful of the majority. They were the people who were planning for you not to be elected. So please, don't miss the point. Thank you. Don't miss the point. It took our blessings for the Speaker to be elected. So stop boasting. It took our blessings. Speaker, back to the point. So order 1, 2, 3 should be quoted in whole. My good friend Honorable Abuja should quote order 1, 2, 3 in whole. Order 1, 2, 3 subclause 3 is clear. And we don't need to belabor the point. We don't need to mess it up. Speaker, thank you.
Come back thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a house of records. One doesn't need to quote any order of the standing orders to buttress the point that a statement that should be made on the floor, more so from a leader, should be statement that is anchored. This is the first sitting of the ninth Parliament. Now, if you have the second sitting, if you have a leader of the House who would make statements that are absolutely conjecturing, someone wanted to be called a particular name or added a title which is unknown to the rules and proceedings of this House. And I wanted your guidance that if anybody decides that he wants a particular name to be added or title to be added to his name, everybody knows that I don't want to be identified as honorable. I want to be identified. And then, Right Honorable Speaker told me that the identification of members here was honorable. And I remember the title that is given to those who are members of Parliament. So if someone decides that he wants to be identified, that warrior title and the actions to support that name was prepared to be unleashed on Parliament and the people of this country. But Mr. Speaker, we are still aware that in this House, when we were electing you, they commandeered, they attacked, Mr. Speaker, They attack. Look, I'll be heard anyway. Miss Sanctity. Look, I will make that point anyway. Mr. Speaker, it was an attack on the sanctity of Parliament. It was an attack on the Constitution of Ghana. This conference, there is a difference between Parliament and executive. Maybe somebody did. We were not maybe perhaps, Mr. Speaker, our government ought to be informed that no, should we track that? Sit down. Should we track that? Should we track that? Mr. Speaker, maybe perhaps they ought to.
Honorable members, please kindly resume your seats. I think we have tested. Today is the first sitting of the first session or even first meeting of the Fourth Republic. What happened yesterday was the first meeting. And in that meeting, the first person to preside over that meeting is the clerk to Parliament. That meeting is not yet properly constituted Parliament. You are members of Parliament elect, and when you graciously elect a speaker, he comes in as a speaker elect until sworn in by a person who, by virtue of that condition, is present on the floor of the House, just for a ceremony, and that is the Chief Justice. Then the person becomes Speaker. And then the Speaker now swears you in. So our standing, now, if you go through the standing orders, you see that they describe today as the first sitting. So that's what we have. The second point is that during the era of the military regime, at that time, the head of state was General Ignatius Kutu Achampong. He said, as for rumors, he has no problem with rumors. The problem he has is the mongering. The mongering of the rumors. Now, and so a decree was passed against rumor mongering. We are not going to do that in democratic Ghana. And so as you monger your rumors, be sure that the Right Honorable Speaker will take them with a pinch of salt. I know that the term I used was not taken kindly by the minority caucus. And so I acknowledge that. And I decided that it will not be used officially. And so the Right Honorable Speaker will not use the term micro-minority at all in reference to the minority caucus. I recall in the first parliament of the Fourth Republic, the caucus I belonged to at that time was referred to as populous majority. And it was used. Maybe because it was edifying, it was accepted. Today, we will not use a term that is not edifying. So I will not use it. I will not use it. I say I won't use it. Now, honorable members, you don't catch the eye. You don't catch the eye of the speaker by begging the speaker. Please, don't beg me. Do the proper thing and you catch my eye. Please. But let me give my ruling. Please. That is what I'm doing. The testing of the waters is enough. We have all tested the waters, the majority, the minority, and the speaker. And that is enough. We have had pre-sitting meetings. The minority leader was not present at the pre-sitting meeting. So his rep was the minority chief whip. And we discussed a number of issues which we will convey to the House, because it's the House that is to take the decisions. So there are key decisions we are to take today. Don't let's use the whole day in correcting votes and proceedings. Please, this is the end of the exchanges, and I'll proceed. I'll proceed to let us end the correction of votes and proceedings. Please. And that phrase was explicit enough. If you conspired at all, you conspired in favor of me. That I know. You don't just conspire against, you also conspire for. Yes, so the word conspiracy is not all negative. There are positive things about conspiracy. Yes. So we will proceed. In the absence of any other corrections, the votes and proceedings of Tuesday, 7th January 2025, the proceedings of that day. Item 6. Item 6. Statements. Honorable members, at this sitting, we are expected, and usually the process is started by the leaders of the House. The first committee that is to be appointed by the House is the Committee of Selection, which by our standing orders is chaired by the Speaker. I specifically refer to Standing Order 205, Rule 1. It says the Committee of Selection shall comprise the Speaker as chairperson, and not more than. There is in what you have some error. It's not 14, it's 17 members of Parliament, and not more than 17 members of Parliament. That's 17. And so, using the usual communication channels, I got in touch with them. They made proposals, which will form the basis for the House to appoint the members of the committee. We are still talking about majority and minority caucuses because by our rules, we have made provision for a third caucus, and that is the independent caucus. But we decided that to constitute a third force, that is the independent caucus, as at now, we have 4. And so the 4 has not met the threshold of 7. My instructions is to the 4 inside which of the caucuses to officially transact business with in the House, to the Speaker of Parliament. And I will make it known to the House, and it will be captured by the official records of the House. So as at now, we have only 2 caucuses, the majority and the minority caucuses. And so what I propose is to give the opportunity to the leaders to give an indication as to the composition of the membership of the Committee of Selection. And then I'll proceed to suspend sitting. The committee will meet. We will submit a report to this House, and this House will take the decision as to the membership of the Committee of Selection. After that, the committee will have to immediately convene and discuss and submit to the House for approval the membership of 2 key committees. The Business Committee, because they have from now the duty to start scheduling the business of this House after the business has been admitted by the Speaker. And then also we need to do the same for the Appointments Committee. These are 2 key, I should say 3 key committees that we have to set up today before we decide. And I will make a proposal for you for us to take a bit of rest to allow the authorized officials to put in place proper arrangements on the floor of the House. Where you are sitting today, they are just borrowed seats for today. The next time you come, you see that your constituency and your name will be on a different seat, which is the properly, so that we could now position ourselves properly to transact parliamentary business and also official government business. That is why I'm pleading with you to let us focus on this important business. The rest, the jabs, the jokes, I think we'll continue as we go along. But this is one family. You will be coming from different mothers, but this is one family. And as the father of the family, I have to treat all of you equally. But you know, as a father, when you see that one child is stronger than the other, definitely that is natural. And it's not only natural, please kindly read the literature. Read the literature, and it is accepted globally that part of the duties of a speaker, accepted, honorable members, I will be applying the rules rigorously. That is why I accepted his position that the use of the word, which is what he objected to. I accept that one. I accept that one. So please, please, this is how we do business. We don't fight here. We may lose our tempers, but we are members of the same family. And we should continue that way. Yes, so leadership, can you out of order? Honorable, just a minute. Because, you know, the House is such that you have to give people the opportunity to be heard. Yes, Honorable Blackwell.
I'm grateful, right, and I was out of order. I just wanted, because of to be set up, the business has changed, and it now has members from other committees, the relevant subject matter committees of the relevant subject matters standing or select committees shall join the members of the appointments committee. So, Mr. Speaker, in that context, I was wondering if we could probably task the committee to probably broaden its scope to look at the other committees as well, because of the indication you gave that they will be focusing on 2 committees. That's why, because it appears we have a conundrum with the new standing.
There is no conundrum. Please, I chair the Standing Orders Committee, and I was there throughout with the lawyers, and we discussed this thing thoroughly. That has been factored into what I just communicated. But we have a spine of the Appointments Committee, and as and when necessary, you bring in the leadership of the other select committees. So leaders, let's hear you. Then let me listen to the former chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since this is my first time, you just referred us and you corrected. Mr. Speaker, even though I don't have the recollection as you have. And since you chaired that, I don't have any reason to doubt whatever you have said. But my question is that the chair, you that chaired the Standing Orders Committee, to be in the chair. Otherwise, this may end up in controversy. So I seek your direction, Mr. Speaker, as to how we'll go about it going forward if we should encounter such typos. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you want to respond to him? Okay.
Speaker, thank you. I tried to catch your attention earlier because my colleague will bear me out that we are privileged to have sat in a number of meetings that are relevant to the discussion before the House, even before my friend Ablakwa raised same matter. And let me say that maybe it's by providence that our colleagues are also being kept in leadership. Because ever since we adopted the new standing order, we realized that per our numbers, minority then, I think the 8th Parliament, there was a need for us to relate to you. And I might commend you highly how you guided us. Myself and the then minority leader, Honorable Governors, we took it upon ourselves to get staff and concerns sanitized. So back and forth, there were instances that we added a number of membership to the already agreed members of the various committees, just to get the balancing right. Yes. So back and forth, Speaker, you guided us. We came on the floor, these motions, in it that had to be corrected. So if you pick the hands up, so today at the conclave, I indicated to the acting bears out. We have to do this and sort this thing out. Otherwise, we can't constitute the committees. And firstly, Speaker, as you rightly directed, we have to deal with the committee of selection. Now, we have at least agreed with the ratio of the composition of the committees for the 9th Parliament. Myself, the selection committee chaired by the Speaker have to be constituted
Once that is constituted, then we look at other critical committees that need to be constituted. For instance, the appointment committee deal with the mistakes that have already been recorded. And the standing order has been printed. My senior colleague gradually observed. So together with the acting clerk and the whips, we can sit and address all these concerns and get these to join the appointment committee. That is why, in the wisdom of the Speaker said that, I'm taking the wind out of your sail, you will grant us a week of break. When we come back, then we will... Then we don't have a problem of who a subject matter committee is that has to be co-opted to the appointment committee. So I think the matters are clear. We have a defined and clarity on how we should approach this matter, and Chief Whip will bear me out. So first thing first, let's deal with the selection committee. Because we directed, we suspend sitting, go and handle and constitute the business committee and the appointment committee, and we get it also approved, and then we can proceed. And then subsequently, we can constitute all the other committees. But essentially, the ratio has been agreed. Everybody knows the Chief Whip.
Yes, please, honorable members, we really took time to discuss this in conclave. And then all the issues you are raising were considered. But because as a house, we'll be able to generate a lot of interest of our people in what we do. And so we're going through this process for the first time for people to hear and get to know how we do our edification and education. But for advocacy purposes, our people have to go with us and understand what we do. Standing orders of the House. Go through in detail now, the House are truly captured in the standing orders. So that we discuss with the clerk, and the clerk and is to put in place this Chief Whip just stated. And the formula as we have now, 8, right? If there are changes in the future, that will. So please, let's listen to them to give us an indication of the membership of the committee so that we can meet and report back to the House. Yes, Honorable Suhini.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. I also wish to seek further clarification based on what you just said in relation to the numbers in the House. You earlier made the point that, Speaker, and as things stand, you made the point about the composition, 183 to 86. Okay, I wanted to drop 4 because they are contentious. But Mr. Speaker, the point I seek to get clarification from you is, what will happen after the indication of the independent members to you as to the caucus they want to be with? Will that change, or would that inform the formula that will be used to compose these committees? Thank you.
I'm sure, yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I just noticed he's asked a question. Maybe, I don't know if you want to respond to that first. Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity for us to do this now. Yes, indeed, the 4 colleagues of ours who are in this House as independent members of Parliament, indeed, communicated to our caucus, to conclave. You guided us that, yes, that is communication to your caucus. But for the records to be clear in Parliament, that communication needs to come to you officially. Unfortunately, when we left the conclave, we came to the floor. So indeed, we are going to communicate to the 4 of our colleagues who, to be honest, Mr. Speaker, they sit with us already. So we shall guide them. We shall guide them as to how to send that communication to you. But at this moment, we are only working with the numbers we have. So I agree with you, Mr. Speaker. These committees we are forming today might change after the official communication to you. But what we are working with right now is approximately three-quarters for the committee of selection. Mr. Speaker, we are saying that our understanding is that you are part of the 17. If that is the case, then NDC or our caucus would have 11 members. And then, yes, 11 members. That is if you were to add you. If you are not part of it, Mr. Speaker, then who will be 12? But
I'm not part of your caucus.
Okay, so Mr. Speaker, I'll give you names of 12 members from our side. Colleagues, we are not debating the statistics. We've worked it out already. The only thing I said was that if Mr. Speaker is part of the 17, then we have 11. If it's not, then we have 12. It's as simple as that. So, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you.
Honorable Majority Chief Whip, take it completely out of your mind. Mr. Speaker is not a member of Parliament. Your caucus is made up of members of Parliament. Mr. Speaker is the Speaker. Mr. Speaker is not a Deputy Speaker. There is vast difference. So I cannot be a member of your caucus, even though as a party, I'm a member of your party. But when I come to a performance of my functions here, it is clearly cut out for me, and I know what to do. We agreed that the Speaker is not part of the 17. The 17 is for the members of Parliament. And we agreed, and you submitted your list, and the minority submitted their list. That is the specific names. So we have that already. So please, you may continue. You have information.
Draw his attention. We said that all the independent members are given to your side. Speaker, if you do the arithmetic, our side will come up to some 32%. So the numbers that we use earlier, there's a bit of error in it. Because I will seek your indulgence. If you may indulge us, the two of us, we will have to look at the report. The clerk has generated a report.
Honorable members, this process is step by step. We haven't reached where you are now. I have not received any such communication to me. He has informed us that the communication is to the leaders of the majority caucus. You came to me with a formula, and you composed the committee of selection. That is what I'm going by. Until I receive official communication from them individually, not collectively, individually, because they will be held responsible. It will be put on the records. So nobody is going to do it for and on their behalf. They have to communicate individually to the Speaker. And you know, in the case of my going to compose committee of selection, let's do that now.
Mr. Speaker, you're very right. I just cross-checked from the committee of selection we had the last time. 17 excluded you. It's excluded you. So, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases you, I'll go ahead and this committee, and once that is done, and then you are the chair, we go to the meeting, then we can come back. Have the majority, Kwame Abuja, Honorable Comfort, Honorable Isaac Asha Odampton, Honorable Emmanuel Kwejo Ajekum, Honorable Clement Abbas Apak, Honorable Shaibu Mahama, Honorable Grace Ayensu Dankwa, Honorable Rachel Ouswa, Honorable Richard.
Speaker, on our side, we have these names as proposed. We have the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, Deputy Leader. We have Anodon Pre. We have Honorable Alaji Habib Idrisu and Honorable Asante Waten, 5 of us. Yes, 5. I thank you, Speaker.
Yes, please. Yes, Deputy Majority Leader.
Right, Speaker, just to add that we confer with colleagues, as you have said, that when the independent members bring their level, we work with that, on that number, just to make sure that is noted for the record.
Honorable members, we have that covered under 205 Rule 3. It says the Committee of Selection may review the composition of committees where necessary. May I now, with your indulgence, direct that the members so declared be adopted by the House as the membership of the Committee of Selection. Do I have that from members? Consensus. So decided by the House. Honorable members, to the conference hall of the Speaker for a meeting on the next item. And with that, I proceed to suspend sitting.
Mr. Speaker, may I humbly refer you to Standing Order 67-1. And in particular, 67 deals with the order of business. I realize you've gone Tanga East. He's been seated in the chamber the whole day. Boko has been in the chamber the whole day. A member from Banda. To find out from you, Mr. Speaker, 67-1L, whether you've received any communication from the President. Because I can see some official communication, a green letter from the President's office. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Actually, I have not received any green letter from the office of the President. I have communication from His Excellency the President. That communication is not on a green paper, but I decide, if you read the orders properly, when no green letter, when to communicate such information to the House. That lies in the bosom of the Speaker. Try to get things in order so that we can now strictly follow what is stated in standing order. When we come back, you can continue with your, or there's no motive here.
Mr. Speaker, I think that the Honorable, that you have the ability to hold letters that are sent to you from the Presidency. Mr. Speaker, and I think that you have demonstrated enough credibility and integrity for an old member of this House to suggest that when you have letters from the Presidency, you will not share it until you are asked by a member of this House. He must show remorse and apologize to you for such a suggestion. Thank you.
Actually, the last time I heard the word hold was during the revolution. This is the second time I'm hearing it. Please, may we suspend? Yes, I'm here proceeding to suspend in consultation with members 1 hour. 1 hour suspension of the House will be sufficient for us to do our work and to report back to you. Is that accepted? Members, is that accepted? Honorable members, the House is accordingly suspended for 1 hour.